This video will go through the last few statements that you need to know. So far, we have covered loops, if statements and functions. And this episode will cover getting user inputs, getting and changing the type of a value, splitting a value, and getting the length of a value. Starting off with inputs. Inputs are a way of getting information from the user that is running the program. First write input, then brackets, inside the brackets enter a string. This string will be the prompt message. When running the program, the message that you chose will be printed, then you can type something. If you would like to store the user's entered value in a variable, then type a variable's name and set it equal to the input. In this case, I am going to ask the user to enter a value, then print whatever they entered. As shown, I am being asked to enter a value, then I enter hello. Hello is being stored in the variable myValue, then it's being printed to the screen. Remember that the inputted value will always be a string. Even if a number is entered, it will still be a string. We can see this by using the type statement. This prints out the data type of a value. As shown, when printing out the type of our variable, it shows that our value is a string. This is always the case for values entered from an input. Even if we enter a number, it will just be a number in a string. However, this is a problem, as if we want to add together the user's value with another number, we will get an error. This is because the user's value is a string, and adding together a string with an integer will give an error. However, data types can be converted to other data types easily. In this case, if we want to convert to an integer, then we can type int, then our value. Make sure to store this new value in a variable. In this case, I have stored the integer value in the same variable as the string value. So, the variable myValue is a string, but after line 5 it will be an integer. We can check if our variable's value has been converted by printing the type of our variable. As shown, it is now an integer. Now that our inputted value is an integer, we can add it to another number. In this case, I am going to be printing our inputted value plus 1. So, any number that is inputted, 1 will be added to it. Now it's time to make a mini project. In this project, you should build a program that adds together two numbers, and both those two numbers have to be given by the user. If you can do that, then try to do the adding in a function by using parameters and return statements. Pause the video now and give it a go. I am going to start off by using two inputs. Each input will get a number from the user. Then, I will convert both values into an integer. This is because they are currently strings. Next, I am going to create a simple function which takes in two parameters, n1 and n2. Then I am going to return n1 plus n2 from the function. Then, outside the function, I am going to call the function and pass in the two numbers to the two parameters. And then make a variable called answer. This will hold the result of the return statement, which is n1 plus n2. Finally, we print out the answer. This program can be written in different ways, as long as it takes in two numbers from the user and displays the answer of those two numbers added together. One thing you can do is put a string before displaying the answer, so you can get some text in with the answer instead of just displaying the answer by itself. However, this gives an error, as the answer is still an integer. And the program thinks you're trying to do some maths by adding together the string with the answer. So, to fix this, simply convert the integer to a string, so the program knows you're just trying to join two texts together. Here is a list of what you need to use to convert to different data types. To convert a value to an array, you need to use split. For example, I have a string of fruits, and if I wanted to convert them to an array, with each item being a fruit, then I have to use split. To use split, type .split, then brackets, to the end of your variable. Inside the brackets, enter a separator. A separator is simply a character that separates each item in the string. In this case, each fruit in the string is separated by a space. So, in the brackets of the split, put a string with a space. Now, I need to store my new array in a variable. I will call the variable my new array. As shown, our string of fruits is now converted to an array of fruits. Let's try another mini project. Build a program that will ask the user for a shopping list of some food, then print out each item individually. If you can do that, then, after asking for the shopping list, ask if they would like each item to be printed out individually, and only print each item individually if they say yes. Pause now. First, use an input to ask for the shopping list. Then split the shopping list string by every space in the string. This will convert it into an array, then store it in a variable called shopping list array. Now that our shopping list is an array, we can loop through each item using a for loop. This will allow us to go through each individual item. Now, if we run the program, we have to enter a shopping list. After that, the program will separately print each item. For the extension, add an input before the loop. This input will ask if the user would like each item to be printed out individually. Then, after this input, use an if statement to check if their response is yes. Then, in the if statement, indent the for loop, so the loop will only happen when the condition is true. As shown, we are now given an option if we would like our items to be printed out. Finally, the last statement we are going to cover is length. Length is simply used to get the length of a value. For example, I have a list of 3 fruits, so the length of this array will be 3. We can print out the length by printing len, then our value in brackets. This can similarly be done with strings. I have a string with the word mango, and mango has 5 letters, so the length of this string will be 5. And that's it. Make sure to keep playing around with these statements.